I'd like to thank my co-organizers, Pete Ingardio over there, Jan Alexander, Gary Silverman, who almost forgot about it. He's not listening. Mickey Wharton is not here yet, I don't think, and Stacy Mosher. So this is the fourth China and Hong Kong related event we've been able to do over the years. We've done a previous one with the Hong Kong government. We did a China related event, China Hands, right here. We did that 3 years ago. This was a really very powerful event. And when we hosted, from Hong Kong government, we hosted a delegation from Hong Kong Journalism Foundation. So we've done a number of these events to maintain our ties with Hong Kong and with the Greater China story. I'd like to recognize Abby Pesta here. She's based in Hong Kong for the Wall Street Journal for a number of years. She's on the OPC board. She is the official board representative. And Tim Ferguson here of Forbes Asia, formerly on the OPC board, currently on the OPC Foundation board, and Patty Kranz of the OPC, who helped organize the event. Thank you very much.
And Dinda, a former governor.
Oh, Dinda, a former governor, right? We have so many formers in the room, right? Deng Xiaoping was a former at one point, wasn't he? Gathered in the room. Can we get the music turned down while we talk?
I'll try to do that.
In the room, we have people who've been involved in coverage of Hong Kong for more than 50 years. As the Commissioner was saying earlier, collectively, centuries of coverage is in this room, centuries of knowledge. So that's really a remarkable thing. Thank you all for coming out. It was a place, Hong Kong was a place that touched all of us. I was there from 1979 to 1981, and obviously it was my platform for launching my career. We're not giving out any good housekeeping seals of approval here tonight for anything that happened in Hong Kong or is happening. We're here to acknowledge that it is a place that touched our lives, and that we want to remain connected to the place. We want to remain connected to Hong Kong. We have a feeling about Hong Kong and to the people and to each other. We are a fraternity, sorority. We are a group of people who have cared about each other over these years and have cared about the story. And it doesn't hurt to have a bit of fun and a drink or two in the process. By the way, this is my
FCC.
Yeah.
Recognize that.
So I'd like to introduce Joanne Chu, who's the new Hong Kong government representative of the Trade and Economic Office. Randomly new, arrived in New York, and say a few words to us.
Sure, thank you so much, Bill. First of all, ladies and gentlemen and friends here, thank you so much for coming. I would like to thank Bill for organizing this event. Actually, last month when I first met Bill, I said we should do it again. I know that this is the second time my office is organizing this. I think we have to reach out to renew our ties with you, like to meet you all, especially because I'm new. I just came here in this July, so still pretty new. So the questions that most people ask me that how do you think New York, how do you like this city? And my immediate response is that I think New York and Hong Kong has shared lots of things in common. Both are international city, global financial centers, and we have very vibrant, dynamic, and we also have a very strong presence of media, including international media. That's why we have a lot of old Hong Kong hands and Hong Kong friends here. And another very encouraging thing for me is that in New York you can very easily find people who have great connections and good knowledge of city, our hometown. I think it greatly facilitates the work of my office here in promoting Hong Kong in the US especially, and also to foster the ties between Hong Kong and US. And tonight I have Claudia and Melissa, my two colleagues here. We are based in New York. Although we are the Hong Kong office, we are not just here to serve the Hong Kong people, we are also here to serve all of you here. So if you need anything about Hong Kong, just feel free to let me know. Our office is very close, just as 54 and Park. You are also welcome to drop by to have a cup of coffee or even Chinese tea. And we are so glad that our Commissioner to USA, Clement, who is based in DC, can join us tonight. And may I pass on to Clement to say a few words?
we're very lucky to have the #1 Hong Kong representative of the United States.
Thank you very much for having me here.
Ambassador with a little A, right?
Yeah, Ambassador with a little A. I'm very delighted to be here, and thank you for having me at this reception, and thank you, Bill, for organizing today's event. As I talked to some of you, I am based in Washington, D.C. because of One Country, Two Systems. We have our separate trade missions to the United States, and I represent Hong Kong in this country. So I not just look after Washington, D.C., but I look after all 50 states in the country. So far, I've been here for about nearly coming up 4 years. So far, I have visited something like 30, so which is not bad, but I still have 20 more to go. So probably they will have me here for another 3 years or so in order for me to do so. As I mentioned to some of you, I'm primarily based in DC, but I always try to come out of DC and visit different cities and states in the US because you have a number of important centers elsewhere. And given the state of politics in DC, I always try to come out to get a bit of fresh air.
Exactly.
If you know what I mean, I have to be very careful because I'm on tape. And I have to be diplomatic because I'm Hong Kong's ambassador with a small letter A. And when I hear that you are having this event before the holiday, I told you, Joanne, that I got to be here. And of course, I come to the New York maybe once every 3 months or so to attend events to update our friends and our contacts on how well Hong Kong is doing and what's happening, whether you have concerns and how I can address them. So this is a wonderful event, and as I mentioned to Bill, you have something like 500 years of experience covering news from Hong Kong. And Joanne and I was just back from Hong Kong for our annual Heads of Missions meeting over the Thanksgiving week. Obviously, Hong Kong does not celebrate Thanksgiving, so they have the meeting there. And of course, when I landed at the Hong Kong airport, I just remember how much I miss that place. Yes, it is very noisy, it is very crowded, it is very cramped, and sometimes the pace is too fast, and I still remember people going into the elevator and press closed door immediately. When I first posted here, I did the same when I was in DC or in some Midwestern city, and the people were looking at me and said, "Sir, are you in a really great hurry?" I said, "No, that's a kind of a reflex action. It's that kind of bad habit." But immediately when you landed in the airport, you feel the energy, you feel the vibrancy.
Intensity.
And the intensity and the stress and the adrenaline level. But of course, I enjoy the efficiency and the kind of the very the vibrant pace. And of course, the great food, the dim sum, the egg waffle, the street food, and the seafood. I know that we're not serving that here today. It's an amazing place, and I hope that all of you, when you're working in Hong Kong, you have some sweet memories to share with us. And of course, one of the highlights of this evening's event is always that you guys share your stories about Hong Kong. So collectively, you definitely know more about Hong Kong than I do. And I have a daughter who is now studying journalism in the Chinese University of Hong Kong. So she is one of you.
Tell her to pick a different field.
That's what my wife said. And I was telling people that our family actually practice one family, two systems. So as you know, she studied journalism, she's very progressive. And I work for government, so invariably you will feel that I am more pro-government and more conservative. And I said to you that we practice one family, two systems. And I heard, she just finished her internship in cable TV Hong Kong. And she was telling me a lot of her stories about covering news in Hong Kong. So I really look forward to hearing from you about your stories in Hong Kong. So thank you again, Bill, for having me, and thank you for having this